Okay, Mr. Fusion's ready. Hey guys, I'm Videobob from Bob's Prop Shop. And you know, for years we've been building our cars in Dallas, Texas. Now we have our second location here in Las Vegas. And for the first time, we're gonna be auctioning one of our cars at the prestigious Barrett-Jackson auction here in Las Vegas on July 2nd, Saturday, 2022. This is gonna be one of the premier cars. It's gonna be prime time. It's lot 751. So you wanna tune in if you wanna bid. These cars that we build are theme park and museum quality. You found our cars like the one that we built for Universal Studios in Orlando. If you've seen that car, this is just like that car. You've seen our cars in car museums and all kinds of attractions, theme parks and things all over the world. One of our cars is right now on display at the Hollywood Museum in downtown Hollywood. If you've always wanted something like this to add to your collection, now is the time. This is a no reserve auction, Saturday, July 2nd at Barrett-Jackson here at the West Hall at the Convention Center here in Las Vegas. You'll be able to come preview the car before the show, meet me, and I can walk you through all the things that this car does. This car's a little bit different than the ones that we built in the past because it has an advanced lithium-ion battery electrical system. It has a built-in fog machine that operates by remote control, has our new LED technology for the lighting, fully interactive time circuits, and all the other cool stuff that you've come to expect. I'm gonna do a complete detailed walkthrough video of this car as a preview, not only for prospective buyers, but for the new owner so that they'll understand how to operate the car. After purchase, I will be there for you to help you learn how to operate the car, and if it ever requires any kind of maintenance, replacement parts, we'll be there. So this is something that's going to be available. Normally these are custom ordered and there's a long waiting list to get one of these cars, but we wanted to try our hand with Barrett-Jackson, and I think it's going to be an amazing auction. For the very first time, you'll be able to bid on one of these cars. Never done this before, and I think it's going to be fantastic. Okay, we're here in our Las Vegas garage, and I want to demonstrate some of the things of the car for you. One of the things I wanted to point out is this car has been autographed by the actor who played Doc Brown in Back to the Future, Christopher Lloyd, displayed prominently on the visor for all your fans to see. We're going to demonstrate how you operate the car. First, let's talk about what's under the bonnet here. When we raise this up, you'll find an integrated lithium-ion system with a fog machine and a Xantrex inverter charger. This is a 2,000 watt inverter charger system that has an AC pass-through. You can plug the car in with this port down below, and whenever plugged in, it automatically passes the AC directly through, bypassing the battery and operating the fog machine so that you can leave it on all the time. As soon as it's unplugged, when the system is activated, it will run from this 200 amp lithium-ion battery. This will run the props and this thing all day long. We don't know exactly how long it will run because we haven't run it out yet. That fits neatly under the bonnet, and the fog machine is operated with this handy remote control. Press the remote control and fog shoots out the back. You can also control the system with this automated timer where you can set the intervals for as long as you want to spray for as long as you want. The fog machine uses regular, everyday fog juice that you can buy from Guitar Center or any DJ supply. A common question is, how do you access the engine of the time machine? You do it just like any other DeLorean. All you have to do is raise up the rear deck, use the included prop rods to hold it up, and you have access to the engine. The Delorean engine is the PRV V6 and is completely stock. We've left the engine, fuel system, brake system, and electrical system in this car completely stock, and it is completely untouched. Any DeLorean mechanic or competent mechanic can work on the car and has easy access to the engine. As you can see here, the air conditioning compressor is working. The car does have working AC. This car has a completely separate fuse box system. The fuse box for the original DeLorean has been relocated behind the seat so that it is easy to access. And then the other fuse block is the one that we've installed that operate all the props. Should you ever need to change a fuse, it's easily accessible. The system is designed to be maintenance free. Other than filling the fog fluid, you should never need to get under the bonnet to maintain the battery or any of the systems. All you simply need to do is plug the car in. Okay, let's talk about how to operate the time machine functions. Let's start with the drive switch in the center console. This operates most of the things inside the time machine. When the Y handle is all the way to the right, everything is off and all the switches should be down. This is the off position of the car. When you rotate the Y handle to the center, this red indicator comes on to let you know it's in standby mode. When you rotate it all the way to the left, it will turn on the various components inside the car, such as the time circuits, the plutonium gauges, the speedometer, the flux capacitor, and the spectrum analyzer over my left shoulder. This first rear switch turns on the flux bands, the lighted bands around the car. That turns those on. This next switch here will turn on the upper console and some of the other accessories off to the right. This next switch will turn on your radio. This supplies power to the radio. You may still need to press the on button on the radio to turn it on. These two small switches have no function. They are just there as part of the prop. But this smaller switch is the one that resets your plutonium chamber, as we will demonstrate. This covered green switch is protected because this turns on your rear fog lights. You don't want to turn these on when you're driving because you could blind the people behind you with bright light. Therefore, this switch is protected and covered. You generally only use this white fog light when you're using the fog machine. This little dial to the front here is how you change the speed on the speedometer when you want it to be on a fixed view. As demonstrated, you rotate that and that will change the digits on the speedometer, the digital speedometer up top. And that's how you operate the drive switch and the controls for the DeLorean time machine. Okay, let's talk about how to operate the time circuits, how they're programmed and how they operate the plutonium chamber gauges, the flux capacitor, and all the other gadgets. Just like in the movie, you have the drive switch handle, which you turn to the left. That activates the time circuits and the plutonium gauges. Turns on all of the components, including the flux capacitor, the digital speedometer, and all the other parts of the time machine. These times actually change. Your first time is your destination time. Your green time here is your present time. And the yellow time is your last time departed. You have to move from the destination time to the present time in order to have your last time departed. Let's pick a date that was in the movie, October 21st, 1985 at 01:21 a.m. The way you choose AM and PM is either with a 0 or a 1. 0 for AM, 1 for PM. Then you press the enter button and the time will appear here on the destination time. You can change this as many times as you like. There are several ways to get this to transition to the present time. One, believe it or not, is to drive 88 miles an hour. This digital speedometer is operated by a GPS module, and if you drive, it will give you your actual speed, and if you drive 88 miles an hour, it will trigger the time event. Now, I'm also going to turn on the radio. There's a switch here on the drive switch that will turn on the custom auto sound Bluetooth stereo. When set to auxiliary 2, it will play the sound effects that are in the car. It also has sort of a kind of a humming sound that is part of the electrical system. Okay. When you set it on Bluetooth, you can pair your phone to it. And auxiliary 2 is another input. There's actually a USB here, and there's actually a microphone here for making phone calls. Okay. The next way that you can transition to the next time is there's a little knob here at the bottom of the drive switch. When you spin that knob, it changes the speedometer to whatever speed you want. If you were doing a photo shoot and you wanted to set the speed at whatever speed you wanted, you could set it however you liked. If you turn it all the way to 88, you get a time event. Okay. The time event moves the dates down. It also will change the position of all the other needles if the switch is up. Also makes the flux go bright. So for instance, you would have to turn the system off and then back on again to reset it. And everything returns back to normal. The next way that you can do this is by pressing the reset button. Let's pick a different date so that you can see. Another date from the movie, November 5th, 1955, 0600 a.m. By simply pressing the red reset button, it activates the time event sequence. It ramps up to 88 miles an hour. And you see the times have changed again. And it ramps back down to 0. When you reset the system, you'll see that now your empty chamber is lit. This little tiny switch next to the green one here, flip that down and back up again, and that resets the system. And you'll see the needles have gone back to normal. This time, once it's in the present time, will show you your current time. So in order to have the actual present time in this quartz clock, you would have to transition to a present time. So simply put in your current present time and date, and it will keep the real time here. But for fun, let's go to the date of the auction. July 2nd, 2022. Probably going to be about, I don't know, 3 in the afternoon. Okay. Now there's also a little button on the back of this keypad if you just want to do a quick manual adjustment, and it advances to the next one. So if you were just trying to set the time, you could do it that way. It's very simple, easy to operate. An original Delorean speedometer only goes up to 85 miles an hour, but in the film they needed it to go up to 88, so they made a custom cover for the speedometer that went to 95. We've recreated that cover for this car for accuracy. You won't find a 95 mile an hour speedometer on the Delorean. They only go to 85. But this car has an accurate speedometer cover, just like the one in the film. This car has 42,500 original miles. This car is a 5-speed manual, just like the one in the film. And another simple alteration that we've done to the car is we've relocated the headlight switch to this easy access point here. By pressing it once, you get the running lights. Press it again, you get the headlights. Press it again, it turns them off. Underneath here are the controls for your inverter system. This allows you to access remotely the inverter that operates the fog machine. And if you look up under there, you can check your voltages, your AC line, and all those other things. It's hidden here because this would not be seen by the public, but you know it's there and you can operate it. Here you have a USB adapter for plugging in your phone or another playback device in the custom stereo. When the stereo is off, it just looks like an old style radio. When it is on, you can cycle through its functions, and you can have, let it boot up here. You have Bluetooth audio with a microphone here for making phone calls. You have auxiliary 1, and then you have auxiliary 2, which is the access to the sound effects. When we talk about the components on the time machine, all of these parts are recreated exactly as they are on the screen-used car. These hoses, the elbows, capacitors, these cooling grids, and various aircraft parts and hoses are either molded from the exact original parts or they are the original parts. For instance, these top boxes that fit on top of the car are molded from the originals that are on the screen used A-car at the Peterson Museum. You'll notice that all the different electrical connections, these type of things, these are all exactly as they appear in the film and as the original car appears in the Mr. Fusion version of the car. It is a very accurate depiction of the original car, whereas many other home builders might use other various substitutes. We have either the real parts or exact reproductions of those real parts. Let's talk about one of the most requested options on the DeLorean Time Machine. It's the sound effects. In the movie, if you remember, whenever you would open the door, you would get this sound effect. Well, that's been integrated right into the car. It operates through a sound module connected through the doors that runs through the stereo system and out the speakers, so that whenever you open the door, you get the famous sound effects. Part of that sound module has this remote control. On the remote has the entire soundtrack of Back to the Future, and you can play the music whenever you want. Now, of course, we can't play the music here on YouTube or else they'll block it, but with this remote integrated into the system, you can play the entire soundtrack and enjoy the music when you're at a car show. And the interesting thing is we wired the stereo system up through the prop battery. That means when you are showing the car and all the props are running, the radio is running, it's running through that lithium-ion battery system that is also integrated when it's plugged in, not through the car battery. The keys aren't in the ignition. You don't need to have the car on, and you won't run down the car battery when you're running the stereo or the props. This is designed to be displayed and enjoyed. It's so much fun. As seen at the end of part 1 and through both 2 and 3, we have Mr. Fusion Energy Reactor. How it functions is very simply. You press in on this latch, pull it back, and it tilts back. You can, put beer cans and banana peels just like in the movie in here. This is sealed so that you can put props in here, maybe a fake banana or something. But it's very simple. That's how it operates. That's the entire function. But it allows you to demonstrate the Mr. Fusion just like it did in the film. This is an exact reproduction molded from the original parts. I hope this explains how the DeLorean Time Machine works, and I bid you good luck on your bidding when this car hits the auction block at Barrett-Jackson, July 2nd, Saturday, prime time, lot number 751. It'll be Saturday afternoon with all the other premium cars. This is the first time that Barrett-Jackson has ever offered a DeLorean Time Machine replica to the public. And it's the first time that we've ever auctioned a car this way. As I've mentioned before, our cars are found at theme parks and museums, and this car was designed to be used that way. You can just have it in your collection, use it as a party rental vehicle, have it on display at a car museum, wherever you want, but this is one of the finest DeLorean Time Machine replicas we've ever built, and we're offering it to you at the Barrett-Jackson auction. Again, Saturday, July 2nd, lot number 751. Good luck. Bid to win. it.